Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Friday, February 27th, 2026. I, of course, am Hammer, founder of Hammer Solutions with great products like Originator Success, Grab and Go Social, and Rate Sensei. That's right. We have multiple products to help you to get more loans as an originator in 2026. Be sure to go check those out. Originator Success helps you get found online, be found, be chosen, be remembered. Grab and Go Social makes it easy to consistently get out there and post every day, building your online following and eventually getting business from social media with content, pre-made content, and editable content, coaching, weekly coaching, and community. And it's all less than $100 a month. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get good. So forget those fancy AI tools. Get out there and get social. Last and not least, Rate Sensei. Although I haven't really built it out, all of my rate stuff I'm putting under that umbrella, Rate Sensei. So anyway, go check that stuff out. Remember, you can join me live each and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time on Facebook and YouTube. If you're here this morning, say good morning. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget, give me hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you were here and join us live next time. And if you do like joining us live, but you don't want to miss a moment of the show, make sure you sign up for a text reminder. Don't depend on the channels to remind you. Go ahead and sign up at hmmr.io/reminder or use this cool QR code over here. Sign up and be alerted that I am going live each morning. Also, you can sign up for our daily email lock advice, www.ratelockadvice.com. Sign up for our text alerts at www.ratetextalerts.com and find out what they're all about as well. So let's go ahead and say hi to the live folks. If you're here this morning, say good morning. We got Mr. Zane and Amy Blauser. Good morning. Kathy Jensen. Happy Friday. Rob Wilson, Angela Walters, Holly Johnson, Nicole Semerad, Michael Scott Love, Sean Segaloff. By the way, I know I saw Angela Walters on the list. Congratulations to those of you that are members of Consolidated Coaching's coaching crew and now have access to Grab and Go Social. Make sure you use it. Make sure you use it. Happy Friday, Segaloff. How's your back doing, my man? How you feeling? I hope you're doing all right. Is Mr. Siegel, Ron Siegel, on yet? I wanted to know what special day it was. Mike Tebow says live in Detroit. I like me some Detroit. Look at this. I got. Hey, Mister. Hey, George. George is looking at me. I got George for all over my hat, dude. You'd never know that you need to use this thing on your hat, right? Look at this. So anyway, all right. Well, good morning, y'all. Let's go ahead and jump in and get started. See what we got going on here. Let me pull up the screens. We'll start off with the technicals. Let's take a look at the technicals. We are currently at a lovely, wonderful, let me pull up Presentify. Thought I had that loaded already, but I guess not. There we go. All right. So we are currently at a lovely 100.45 for plus 8 basis points on the day. Take a look at this 10-year treasury yield. It has broken below that 4 handle. So let's go a little bit deeper on that. Quick recap on what happened yesterday. Let's see if I can. There you go. All right. So taking a look at what happened yesterday, it was a very boring day for mortgage-backed securities. Very little movement through the day. They did end the day right here, 100.38. Take a look at that. Ended the day right at 100.38 yesterday. You could see, and that has been a very, very strong. Let's pull an arrow so we can get a kind of a straight line on that, right? So we have seen this. It has been a very strong technical level, this 100.38, and likely will remain so. Now, this morning, we're starting the day above 100.38, though, and this could be opening the door for things to get better. But as far as yesterday went, it was a very calm, quiet day. There was no drama, no reprices or anything like that. As far as rate sheets today, they're going to be unchanged to possibly a little bit better. Arguably, you're right at that 5.996-ish mark right there. You're going to see some small movements. If we do hold this morning, we're currently up 9 basis points. If that holds and we continue up there, you will see slightly better pricing this morning. Arguably, the best pricing in 3 years, right? I love all those headlines that are real big on that. So reprice risk on the day is low. It is somewhat possible that we could see some movement lower this morning. Again, mortgage-backed securities are testing that 100.38 level, and the 10-year yield is testing the 4.0 level. Both of those are a big deal. So this could be setting us up for next week for better rate sheet pricing, especially with all the jobs data. So next week, big jobs data week. We're going to have the JOLTS. We're going to have the ADP report monthly. We're going to have jobless claims on Thursday, and Friday we get BLS jobs data. And markets are already expecting some weakness, but depending on the reaction, if this momentum continues, we could see slightly better rate sheet pricing. Now, remember, we're not seeing a lot of moves. This is the new normal, if you will. We're getting very used to the fact that not only are rates stable, but pricing has been so stable. And next week, it could shake things up. We could see something in the 592, 587. I mean, we could see things get a little bit better. Of course, Govey's already in those mid fives, but conventional falling into those fives. This is going to spur activity. A lot of headlines, people becoming more familiar with it. You're going to want to be active. Don't worry about loans closing longer term. We got time for those, but for ones that are closing in the near term, I still like locking loans that close in the near term. I just don't trust it, right? I don't trust where we're at. And we don't have any fundamentals this week. We knew there was nothing on the calendar that was going to shake things up. Oops, go back to this. Come on. All right, hold on. I got to fix this, make it smaller again. Doobie-doobie-doo. So we knew that there was going to be no big moves from the fundamentals. But again, rates really not going anywhere. What we won't see change, we're not going to see the outlook for a Fed rate cut change. Right now, there is almost no expectation. Even if the jobs data comes out weaker next week, it's not likely we'll see it show up here for the March meeting. We may see it show back up for the April meeting. Now, remember, right now, less than 20% expectation we could see a rate cut in the April meeting. This has been down as low as about 75%, even 70%, I think, at one time. So it's possible that we could see the idea of an April cut improve, but it really, even if we see weak labor market data next week, I don't think you see anyone pricing in a March cut. Even though Fed Chair Christopher Waller, Fed Governor Christopher Waller, not Fed Chair, sorry, Fed Governor Christopher Waller talked about that, a weak labor market would still encourage him to support a 1/4 point cut. Not a lot of other members that are really buying into that right now, though. And in fact, still a coin flip for June. That is basically the earliest that markets are expecting. And of course, that does happen to be right after Jerome Powell exits stage left for the Fed chair. Not sure if he's going to exit the Fed altogether because he could stay on, but we'll see as we get a little bit closer to that. So anyway, that's where we're at this morning. It is a great day if for all of you that are here. So I don't know. We can talk about the JOLTS data because I guess, we'll talk about the JOLTS data. So the JOLTS, man, I'll tell you, I'm feeling a little off today, right? Producer price index, the inflation data. We could talk about the producer price index, wholesale inflation. Basically, the idea that tariffs have increased prices for goods on the wholesale level. And I mean, we're 10 months now from when the tariffs went into place. And it's still there, even though Trump can stand up on stage and argue that, things are improving. He makes things up anyway. So I mean, it's not even like he bends the truth. He just makes up his own truth. Say what you want, but it is what it is, right? Steve Jobs used to do the same thing, and they called it the reality distortion field. So looking at the reality, though, we are seeing that the core producer price index is up a little bit. This is not anything that had effect on mortgage rates this morning, but it does show that we could see this kind of trickle over into the PCE inflation data when that comes. But remember, PCE inflation data hasn't really moved rates either. Hasn't moved rate sheets at all. So, but this did not really cause any concern. If you take a look at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time when that data came out, you could see we saw, let's see, 8:30. Right before it came out, bonds were at 100.42. At 8:30, it came out. They went down to like 100.36, and then 5 minutes later or 10 minutes later, they're back up to 100.42. So, and now they're way above that. So, it really, there's no lasting effect, and there's nothing that really matters when you talk about that data. That's why we knew that we talked about it wasn't going to be a big deal. Next week will be a lot more to work with when we've got that labor market data. So, yeah, today is National. David Glenn is funny. David Glenn said today is National Where's Ron Siegel Day. Jerry Avila, I want better pricing. The thing is, though, you have to be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. And you know what happens is that and all the consumers, they're always like, oh, I'm going to wait for rates to drop. I'm going to wait for rates to go lower. Rates are going to move lower. We haven't seen rates move lower in months, but yet, oh, we're going to wait for rates to move lower. So you're going to have to get good at overcoming that objection. Let me ask you guys a question. One of the things I was thinking about doing under the Rate Sensei umbrella was making some videos, like having a web page that was branded to paying members where information was there to explain to consumers in an easy format using an AI avatar, because I don't want to be on your stuff, and I don't want to dress pretty or look pretty, and certainly not going to take my OSB background. I'd have to paint a lot faster. So anyway, using something like that, would you like to have something that had a library of content, video content that you could share and use on socials and drove people back and explained, like where the rate outlook was, or where the rate outlook is for the week, where the rate outlook is for the next month, and just kind of explained it and was a third party source, but yet lived on something that was branded to you? Let me know on that. I have some ideas for where I want to take Rate Sensei, where I think it'll help originators to have better conversations and convert more business is the key. Generating business and converting business is definitely the key. So Segalov likes that idea. Thank you, Segalov. I also think there's something to do with consumer text alerts, because I got to tell you, we have so many originators that tell consumers to sign up for our text alerts. Don't do that. I love y'all, but I don't want consumers signed up for our text alerts for a business reason. Number one, they cancel within a couple of months after they close their deal, of course. And then number two, believe it or not, the only time we have issues with chargebacks are generally consumers who think that they canceled because they wrote stop and don't contact support and actually cancel. And then we have it costs us money by the end of the day. It's just a pain in the ass. So, however, I think we would do something on the consumer side with consumer specific texts and make them like a 3-month subscription, so that they're getting it in blocks and it doesn't necessarily continue unless they want it to. So then I wouldn't have to deal with that. Sean said, I've been trying to do long form with the avatar myself. It never works because the hand motions repeat. Yeah. Talk to Austin. Austin's definitely looking more into that, Sean. We were talking about possibly having an upsell in Grab and Go Social to help you guys with that too. So Angela says, sounds very intriguing. Intriguing. What a big word. What an adult word. So a lot of reflection off my eyes today. What would you say to people waiting for rates to come down more? That's a longer conversation, Dan, than I can have on you here. The bottom line is it becomes about the psychology of persuasion over convincing. It's hard to convince somebody that rates are not going to come down, and you telling them rates aren't going to come down isn't going to make it true, especially because we don't have a crystal ball and don't know what's going to happen. So generally, the way that you would answer that is more with questions. Let me ask you a question. If you were to buy today, if you were to move forward, if you were to refinance and rates did move down, if they moved down 1/8 of a point, would you regret it? Would you regret that you had taken action on that? If they moved down 1/8 of a point, that's going to change your payment by $15 a month. Is that something that you would look back and say, man, I wish I hadn't done it? Or now let's say they go down more than that. Is it something that I could help you with in the future? Then, and it probably is. So let me ask you, are you going to sit and wait, hoping to find the bottom? And when do you know it is the bottom? The only time you ever know it's the bottom or the best is when it's over. So this could be the best. We don't know. But if it's so close that we don't know that it's the best, is now the time to take action. And it's questions. You want to ask them questions, not tell them. You don't want to tell them why rates aren't really going to move lower. You want to ask them, even if you ask them things that they don't know, like, hey, do you think that there's any economic conditions that are going to push mortgage rates lower? Why do you think mortgage rates may move lower? Well, I don't really know, or this, or hey, that could be right. They could move. So you don't want to argue with them that they're not going to move lower, right? You just want to be like, hey, it could be right. They could move. Do you think if they do move lower, do you think they're going to move much? I don't think they'll move much. Here's why. What do you think? Do you think they're going to move much? And then come bring it back and ask them that question. That's how I would do some of that stuff, Dan. Randy said, better for a lack of a word is good in my best Wall Street voice. Dan likes it. Good. Hope you like it, man. Diana likes it. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap up. So hope you all have a fantastic weekend. What are you guys doing this weekend? I've got some plans tonight, going to see Amy Grant with my wife in the casino. Normally I like to take Fridays and go play poker. I will be going to the casino tonight, but they've got a concert hall, and I will be seeing Amy Grant with my wife tonight. She doesn't go out till 9:00 though, which sounds late until you realize regular concerts start earlier, but then they usually have like warm-up bands. There's no warm-up acts. There's just, she's going to come out. So 9:00, hey, I'll be up past my bedtime. Tomorrow, going to work on some more of the bathroom over at Zach's house, my son and daughter-in-law who bought their house, and their house is, it's looking amazing. They've painted, laid down new floors. This is stuff they've all done themselves. It's all DIY. They've got some furniture in there now. They're starting to hang things up. They're getting ready to move in. We've still got some work to do, but once they have a working shower, I think they can get in there, and we've got to get them some stuff. So Mike Tebow said, I wouldn't be in a hurry to lock, wait until the end of the day. Yeah. And even then, I would only be locking loans closing in the near term. There's really no risk for loans that are closing later in March. If you've got something closing, next week's labor data can always bite you in the ass. That's the reality. Excuse me. So I thought I kicked this, but it's kind of coming back a little today. So anyway, the labor data can always bite you in the ass. And that's why anything closing near term in the next couple of weeks, we're right there at the bottom. Like, why would you want to, tempt fate, right? However, I will say, even for those loans, the technicals, we've broken through those technical resistance levels. If that holds and confirms into Monday, we could see slightly better pricing next week. So if you wanted to float into next week, it's not the worst time to do it. I know I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, but it's there. Randy said, I love stability, but it'll take a better trend. Yeah, I'd like a trend where things are improving. Sure. Right. Mike's working on Elks State hoop shoot contest. Sounds fun, Mike. Sounds fight. Sounds fight. Sounds fun. See, my brain's not firing. Sounds fun. So, all right, my friends. Well, that's it enough for me. I'm gonna get out of here. I think I'll be taking it easy today. So, y'all have a fantastic weekend. Join me on Monday, and we'll see what next week brings. Take care, everybody. Have a great one. Bye-bye.